Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, has it been worth the wait? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness finally arrives in cinemas this week after a year-long delay, and the MCU is in a very different place now to when it was originally set for release in May 2021. After Loki made the first steps into the multiverse, Spider-Man: No Way Home showed all the crowd-pleasing potential of the concept as it brought together 3 generations of Spider-Men. Doctor Strange can't repeat that particular trick, but fans certainly have high hopes of just who Strange might bump into. Add in the excitement of Sam Raimi directing his first superhero movie since Spider-Man 3, and the worry is that Doctor Strange 2 might not live up to the hype, or to the movie that fans have created in their minds. The truth is that it probably won't, but that's necessarily a bad thing. It's absolutely a Sam Raimi movie and is definitely the MCU's first horror movie, resulting in some unique sequences. However, the story lets it down and could prove divisive for fans. In truth, though, there's not really as much multiverse hopping as you'd expect, so the movie never feels bloated or overlong. If you're after 2 hours of spectacle, it won't disappoint, and the multiverse setting is exploited to its fullest, visually speaking. Most pleasingly though, the movie has Raimi's fingerprints all over it. A long-running criticism of MCU movies is that they can feel made by committee and it doesn't really matter who's directing. They'll end up looking the same, ticking all the familiar boxes and never really pushing boundaries. For better and, for some fans, potentially worse, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness doesn't always feel safe. For all the frustrations with the thin storyline, the sequel leans hard into the horror with an early eyeball gouging setting the tone, followed by numerous impalings, charred corpses and effective jump scares. It probably pushes the family-friendly vibe as far as the MCU ever will, and at least feels different to what's come before. Much like the first Doctor Strange movie, the overall feeling you're left with is one of frustration. It does feel unique in terms of the MCU, and there are strong sequences throughout, right up to the understated finale. Yet there are obvious flaws elsewhere with rote characterization and an underdeveloped plot. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is far from a horror show, but you can't help but feel somewhere in the multiverse, there's a better version of this movie that exists. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is released in UK cinemas on May 5th and in US cinemas on May 6th. Doctor Strange 2 star Elizabeth Olsen on the joy of working with women. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has promised fans a mind-bending trip into the many variants that populate the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But before the multiverse was a thing, Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff was already familiar with bending minds. WandaVision saw Scarlet Witch struggling with her grief, and in doing so trapping the people of Westview in her illusion. The trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness addresses the hypocrisy around how Stephen Strange is treated compared with her over their sacrifice of others for the greater good. Ahead of the movie's debut, Digital Spy caught up with Olsen to ask her how she viewed this double standard, and the journey her character has taken since her early days in the MCU. I think the biggest change really felt like the amount of time on screen. I've been taking up my lane in these ensemble films and trying to serve the story and these other characters and just add, the color that they needed from my character. Usually it was from the more sincere, vulnerable emotional space. Then to be able to access a playfulness and humor in WandaVision was really fun for me. That was kind of a breath of fresh air. This humor. What was it like working with Catherine Hahn? The amount of joy that we had making that show, and also just the friendship to have with her, and to work with another female on set, it's just such fun. Anytime I get to work with other women I really do enjoy it. And I think that's becoming. Often there's just a bunch of men and a couple of women. When you get to have these friendships, especially with Catherine, because she's had a long career and she's had more experience than I have, so there's lots of that dynamic as well. There's a camaraderie in that. What was the most challenging thing about filming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? The most challenging thing I always find is how to advance the character. How to not be repetitive, but be consistent. How to further her journey and not be repetitive. And so I do think that's always my goal. I want there to be an evolution. First trailer for Black Lightning and Tall Girl stars new movie. Amazon Prime Video has dropped the first trailer for Emergency, a comedy drama from #J director Carey Williams and starring cast members from Black Lightning and Tall Girl. The film is about 3 college students of color who just want to have a good time, but their planned best night ever turns into a nightmare as 2 of them return to their dorm to find a white girl passed out on their floor, while their Latinx roommate was home the entire time, gaming with headphones on. Fearing that the police would never believe 3 people of color in this situation, the trio make the decision to move the body out of their dorm first and then call the police, but that plan starts to backfire on them when the girl's sister tracks her phone. While the film is a comedy drama, as evidenced in the trailer, it's clear to see that the movie is exploring racial police bias, something that was heavily protested against in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020. Black Lightning and the 2017 Power Rangers movies. RJ Cillier plays one of the trio, while Tall Girl and Girl Meets World star Sabrina Carpenter plays the sister. Other cast members include the Underground Railroad's Donald Elise Watkins, Penny Dreadful, City of Angels' Sebastian Chacon, and Council of Dads' Maddie Nichols. The film premiered earlier this year at the Sundance Film Festival, and received plenty of positive reviews for being a solid comedy film while also including sharp social commentary. It currently stands at 71 on Metacritic. Emergency will be released in select cinemas on May 20th, and on Amazon Prime Video on May 27th. Black Adam producer explains why Dwayne Johnson's DC movie was delayed. Black Adam producer Hiram Garcia has explained why Dwayne Johnson's DC movie was delayed until October. It's been a long road in the lead-up to The Rock's DC debut in Black Adam, since he was cast as the titular anti-hero way back in 2014. Originally set to be the main villain in Shazam, it was then decided by Warner Brothers in 2017 that Black Adam would feature in his own movie which would depict his origin story. It was no surprise, then, that fans were disappointed by the news that Black Adam had been delayed once again from July 2022 until October, after previously being delayed from December 2021. Producer Garcia explained that this delay had to do with the backlog of the VFX department as a result of the pandemic. "I think we're just in a world right now where there was a huge and understandable freeze-up when the pandemic hit and a lot of productions were put on hold," he told The Wrap. Now that the industry has really roared back, the pipeline for VFX is so jammed. Obviously all these superhero movies just require so much VFX, and we're just in a situation where the majority of the VFX houses are just completely swamped with work. Of course, visual effects are one of the most important aspects of superhero movies, which is why Garcia also pointed out that this backlog has also caused a delay for other superhero blockbusters such as Aquaman 2 and The Flash. "I think that's why you saw seismic shifts across the board, and you continue to see those giant properties just moving further down the line. And it's just a matter of the vendors being able to accommodate the amount of VFX they have to do, the shots that have to be done. They're busting their ass and we're so grateful for all those VFX houses. It feels like things are starting to calibrate and I think you'll start to feel less shifts down the line," he added. Black Adam will be released in cinemas October 21, 2022.